this is the dashboard. It has the different courses that you would have, and you can get to any one of the courses by just clicking on the dashboard once you've logged in. And then you can see the information. And here is the way our system is set up. This is typical of what our online courses will look like from the module view. Okay, when you go into modules. And what I'd like to point out is that this first little module at the top, that's 2 items, has a basic Canvas setup. And when you click on that, it gives you a couple of options: basic setup information and online support and information. And when you hit that, then you'll have a number of other places you can go, and stuff about the browsers and software and all of that. This is all information that will be useful to you. And it's there just to help you get set up properly. And if you need some support, then there's a number of online support locations that are there, from the IT help desk if you're having technical issues, to things like disability support services and academic support. There's online tutoring is available. There's a writer's center. A lot of stuff here that will be useful to you, and you should know that it's available. Go in and take a look at this, please. And that's right under this very first part when you go into the modules. It's this very first one, basic setup. Okay? Then we have a module that's introductory, and it works like this. We have a to-do area, and here it says check your textbook. Make sure you're getting the right textbook. View any introductory videos, review the course syllabus, review the course calendar, post the introductory discussion, and so forth. And then down below here there's a previous and a next button. And it does just that. When I click the next button, that will take me to the next item in the course. And here's how I can check my course textbook and my software. See what software I might need. And by doing this, if you use the previous and next, you will not miss an item. And that's key, because if you are always clicking in and out of the course, you have a potential to miss some particular item on the list, not see it, and not do that assignment, or it gets forgotten about. And if you do the next button, if you go through a module and you go next, 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 you're not going to miss anything. I can promise you that part. Let's go in here. The next item, there's a welcome video from the instructor. And if you notice here, there's 2 of them. And one says a low-quality version, and the other one is a high-quality version. The reason that we often have 2 versions is that depending on the speed of your lines, you may have trouble watching one of the videos. And if you try the high-quality version, I'd start with that one, and it doesn't play well, or it's jumpy or anything like that, then go to the low quality. It could be the traffic on your lines, it could be the speed of your lines, it could be your computer, but we offer a couple of versions there to try and get around some of the problems that can crop up. And hopefully that will work for you. If you are having problems with this, the very first place to go is the help desk. And there's links for that. The next approach would be to let your instructor know that there are problems. And again, it's something you don't want to put off. If you're having problems, get to somebody, get some help, get it squared away as soon as possible. Okay, so then we go on to our next button. And here's a review of the course syllabus. And we can see an example of a syllabus here. This is a syllabus for a nutrition class. And this is all the stuff the instructor puts in. Notice they've got a course outline. There's which chapters they're dealing with and which module, and when you have quizzes and so forth. And all of this down to how it's scored and what your grading scale is. And then below that is a list of assignments and due dates. And those are all created automatically in each course when either an assignment or a quiz is put in with a due date, and it's ordered by due dates. If you click on one of these, it will take you directly to that particular assignment. But what we really prefer is that you go down through the modules, and we're going to hit the next button. And there's grading and assignments, so there's a separate document for that. And then we can review the course calendar. And you have a calendar. It's over here to the far left, and it's right under the eagle, under the column with the eagle on top. And the calendar is third item up from the bottom. We're going to click on that. A little slow, but we'll get there. Okay. And here's what the calendar looks like. And you notice that I have a bunch of courses listed over in the side. But we're looking at the Marketing 310. And in there, there's an exam. Notice that some of these boxes are grayed. And the marketing one has a little blue square on it. If I click on one of these others, it will take on a different color, and it will show me things that relate to that. But if I just want to see one class, then I need to just click on the box for the single class, the marketing, or if I do a new online student workshop, come on. That's something. There we go. Then it tells me there's an exam on the 24th, and on the 31st there's a discussion to be done, and there's an exam on the 2nd, and so forth. And I can also click on these items and go directly to that item. I can do it from the calendar. You just want to be careful that you're looking at the right course. So check that, and if you hover on it, it will show you what the calendar is, what the item is, and what course it's in. All right? Okay. Let's go back to, let's back this up a bit. And here's course calendar 2. I'm going to go to next. And it says Module 1 Instructor Overview Video, which means I am now in the first module of the course. This particular module happens to be a biology course. And let's go out and take a look at the module itself. Now, when I say there's certain basics that we try to stay with, each instructor can do this pretty much any way they want. And they have their own ways of customizing. In this one, the instructor starts with an overview video as the first item. Then he has a to-do list, and then he goes to readings. Then there's more lectures and some videos. Then a couple of assignments. He's got a discussion board, a quiz, and a little item that says this is the end of Module 1. If you click Next, you're going to be in Module 2. But this is one way that a module will look. There's no guarantees here. I'm going to show you from a nutrition course. Here is another module. And this is got a to-do list, and then a lecture, and then readings, and lectures, and lecture, and a reading, and a lecture, and a reading. All of those things need to be done and need to be gone through. I recommend you take them in the order they've been set up because normally the instructor has a reason for that. Here we have week 3. This is a different course. And there's an overview, a to-do list, readings. This has a concept map that people have to do, then a discussion board, and then the end of week 3. Excuse me, a little cough. Module 4 here is part of, this is from our template. And we generally recommend that there be an overview, a to-do list, readings, lecture, a video, a discussion, maybe additional discussions, assignment, and then the end of the module. And this is our basic approach to things. But the modules are not, if you take 3 different classes, you're going to see 3 different ways that modules get constructed. But all of these components should be in there. There should be some sort of a to-do list. There should be lectures. There should be readings. There should be discussion boards and quizzes. And all of those things will be there. It's just exact sequencing is dependent on the instructor. But all of these are similar in the way that they approach and the items that are within the module. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get back here for a moment to software. We had talked about updating software and everything. And what I would like to show you is that as an Eastern student, you have access to this, and you can download a free antivirus software. Doesn't cost you a thing. You can download it right now for Mac and Windows. There's Office Productivity, Office 365 for PC or for Mac. Both of them are available, and as they are free as long as you're a student. And as a student, you can put these products on as many as 5 different devices that you own. So it doesn't mean everybody has 5 computers, but you may have different devices that you want to put Office on. And you can do that, and you can keep it up to date. Office 365 is a 2016 package, so it's pretty much up to date. Adobe Creative Cloud is available at a discount, okay, for students. It's not free, but it's a reduced rate of, it's 60% less than the over-the-counter current rates. So you do save a substantial amount of money. And the Creative Cloud for Adobe allows you the use of probably more than a dozen different programs that Adobe creates and manages. So being a student, you have a really nice break on software, and you know, please take advantage of it. Doesn't have to cost you to have the latest productivity software. And Office 365 has PowerPoint and Excel spreadsheets, and it has Word documents and all of that sort of thing. So a lot of stuff in there, really good to have, and you can stay up to date. All right. When we were talking about equipment, I mentioned the computer. I didn't mention the high-speed lines. And high-speed lines are a key, whether you're using a cable modem or if you've got a dish out there somewhere or other kinds of lines. You need a decent high-speed line. Faster is better, but you know, you have to decide what works for you and what you can get in your area. And the other thing I'm going to recommend is a headset with a microphone. It's just kind of like what I'm using right here. It does not have to be a high-dollar item. This is a $20 headset. I have a $20 webcam that you're seeing me on right now. There are much more expensive ones that can be had, but that's not a requirement. The $20 versions will work fine, so it doesn't have to break the bank. You may not be using your webcam and your mic tonight, but when you take an online course, you may have several occasions to use this sort of equipment. If you have a camera built into the top of your computer or into your laptop or something, that's fine. And you don't have to use a headset. You have a mic inside your computer in all likelihood. But the problem is you can get some feedback issues if it's coming out of speakers and turning around and going into a microphone. So if you use at least earbuds, that will keep that from happening, okay? You'll find uses for this stuff. And again, it doesn't have to be real expensive. Another question that comes up is, when can I get into my class? And you'll be able to get into your courses normally a few days before school opens. Like right now, there are courses, I know courses that are available. Students can go in and look at them. Does not mean that your teacher is going to be right on top of it, but they will be after the first of the quarter, after the opening Monday. But you can go in and look and see what textbook you need. You can also go to the bookstore and figure out what textbook is needed. They have a system that allows you to type in your class and tell you what textbook is required and what version. So don't forget about the bookstore. You can purchase it, there. You can purchase it someplace else, but do make sure you've got the right edition. But that's a pretty critical piece for some of the courses.
Gary, will the course always be available to view ahead of time? I don't see any tiles in my dashboard yet at all. Is that normal?
I'm going to say yes, that's normal. We have a number of instructors that don't open their course till the first day of school. Okay. But we encourage them to open it up a day or two ahead. It may be that the instructor will open it tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Check back.
Thank you.
I hope they open it before the weekend, but I can't guarantee it. That's up to the individual instructor. Okay? Thank you for the question. Good question. We talked a little bit about how the courses work and how you get around in them. I think I probably ought to go in and show you how to set up some notifications, things like that. Let's take and go, oh, this is the orientation. For anybody that tuned in late, if you go in and look up Eastern Washington and the student orientation online courses, there's some recorded versions of this that will be available, and this one will be online probably in a couple of days. But you can go to any of them. It's same sort of content, and that's available to you. Let's go here. Let's see. Okay, what I want to do is go course modules. That's what I wanted. Course modules here. I want to go, if you go to your account, it's the first top item under the EWU Eagle. You click on account. Then there's a list of items come over, and one of them is profile. And profile needs to be set up. Some of your instructors will require this. And you can put in here, you've got my name, There's contact information, there's a little biography, and then links. One of my favorite sites is Project Gutenberg, free ebooks, all kinds of subjects. Pretty cool stuff. Check it out if you haven't. But again, you can put up whatever information you want here, and you can click on the Edit Your Profile button and go in. I would recommend you put up a picture of yourself. Instructors like to know who you are. It's okay to have pictures of your pet dog or cat, but they'd really like to see you, I know. And you can go in and add in links and some other information about yourself. And this account information will show in all of the Canvas courses that you are a part of. It's what we call a global setup. So you don't have to do this for each course. You just have to do it once. And that's the same thing for notifications. I'm going to go to the next item up here. And notifications is something you really need to look at and set up also. Notifications, notice that things are going to, there's 2 email addresses up here. I have my Eastern, my EWU address, and then I have a Gmail address. But for these items, I can pick what goes when and to which email address. You can have it set up so that it will go to your phone. But if you do that, be careful, because it could cause your phone to sort of ring off the hook. You can always go in and change these things. But let's say one of the things I would recommend is under announcements, because announcements could cover a lot of things and things that you need to know about right away. I have it going to my EWU email, and I have it coming in immediately. If there's an announcement, if somebody puts an announcement in a course that I am connected with, then I will get a notification that says, this has changed, there's a new announcement, whatever. I can select this next item, and it will do this on a daily basis. It will give me a daily list of announcements. Or I can select the calendar, and that will give me a weekly list of announcements. Or I can hit the little X at the far side, and that won't give me an announcement notification at all. I don't have one for my home email. I do keep it for my Eastern email. And this is a point that I need to emphasize too, that you may have a Gmail or Hotmail account that you use all the time and prefer, but your Eastern email is how the school will communicate with you. And so all of the messaging from your instructor, the messaging from the official offices and financial aid and whoever is going to come through your Eastern email. So you need to be checking that on a regular basis. You cannot set up your Eastern email to forward to Gmail or Hotmail or whatever. We have restrictions on that, and there's security issues involved. And so it does not, you can't forward it to one of your other email addresses. It might be inconvenient, so you need to get used to checking 2 emails. But please do check it. And do that on a regular basis. And if you're going to set up notifications, if you look at your home email more often, then you can add that email address in there, and you can set it up to for announcements or for discussions or anything else to go immediately to that email address. But I'm going to recommend that you look at least on a daily basis at your school email, please. Because that's where it's all going to be heading. So you need to look through all of these things that can be set, all the notifications that can be sent. But understand that if your email's filling up with things you're not interested in, you can go in and change these settings. So you can block them if you want to, but be careful about what you let through and what you block. You have a few decisions to make there. All right. I'm going to go over here. One more thing, settings. If you click on settings, notice that I can add an email address, and that will add a different one in there. I can also add a contact method. And the contact method can be text. It can be SMS to a cell phone. It can be to email. These are things that you have to figure how you want to receive this. I don't think you want your cell phone going off on a regular basis, but that's up to you. Also, there are web services available. You can set it up so that Skype is registered. I've got Google Drives here. There's LinkedIn and Twitter, and I think Facebook is in here. There's approved integrations. So lots of things that you can decide on what sort of features you want, what sort of links. There's LinkedIn. You set your settings the way you want, but please don't try and shut off entirely the communications from your courses. You may miss something you really wanted. So there's your notifications. Now, okay, we can get to the announcements, the syllabus, and so forth. I'm just checking my list here. The calendar features and the assignments. Let's go down to, let's see, I'm going to get out of settings, go back to my dashboard. Back to the new student online orientation. Come on. Okay, I'm going to go to modules. And when I come in here, and here's a discussion board. Just a quick little bit for you on discussions. Discussions will be in virtually every class I'm familiar with. Come on. Well, here we go. Okay, in discussions, in this one they're asking you to introduce yourself, and the way you do that, you read what's in the discussion, what the questions are, and then you can take and go down here and click where it says reply, and it's got the little arrow. If you click inside that, it brings up a text box. Now, if this is a very in-depth discussion, I'm going to type it up in a Word document or something, and then I'm going to cut and paste it into this box because I'll have spell check and I'll get a chance to think about it and check my grammar and check my spelling. This isn't something you just tippy-tap out on a cell phone, you know, and with the LOL and the rest of that. This needs to be more like a written paper. It needs to be a little more formal than that. And this has some basic word processing capabilities. It doesn't have a lot, but it has some. And one of the things I'll point out is in the bottom row of items, right almost in the middle, is a little thing, a couple of squares, looks like a little piece of film, like a little piece of movie film. And if you click on that, this will allow you to record and upload media comments, which means you can do it as audio, or you can do it as audio and video if you've got a camera, or you can upload media from another source. If you want to do up an audio piece or something else, you can actually load it. And that won't work the same because I'm already using the camera and I'm using the audio. But this is where you go to do that. So you can make a little web piece and send it in as part of the discussion board or as comments to your instructor. It has lots of applications, and please feel free to try it and use it sometimes. Some of your instructors will use that to feed back on assignments. They'll do a critique of your paper and say, you know, great job, need to work on this paragraph a little bit, but you're in the right ballpark and things are going well, and, you know, upward and onward. And they can do that as video and audio feedback. So just be aware. Not everything has to be typed, but you have this text box, and from here you can start typing in your replies. Once you've got it all typed up, or if you've typed it up separately and then you paste it into this box, then all you have to do is click the little button that says Post Reply. You also have the ability to attach an additional document to this if you want, photograph or whatever. I'm going to cancel this, but this is how you get involved in the discussion board. It's all right? Now I'm going to go back to the modules. Go back here, and let's take a look at, let's see. Let's take a look at an assignment. All right, here's an assignment 1. Oh, one thing I should do prior to this assignment bit is go to my settings. I'm going to make a little change. You're seeing things as a teacher, so there's a lot more buttons and stuff here than you would normally see. But I'm going to go back here and go to modules. I have just gone into the student view, and this is what it will look like. And let's go to let's see if I have an assignment that's active here. Okay, here's an assignment. This is a concept map, and there's been a submission. It was turned in. It's time and date stamped. There's details, and there's a link to the submission. So it's right there. And I can click on it and find out what it is. But notice I can also resubmit an assignment. So if you have a paper that you're doing and you want to do a draft and submit it to the instructor, get their feedback on it, and then do a final submission, you can do that. You don't have to remove the previous submission. It won't overwrite it or anything. So you can submit, you can keep submitting, but everything is going to be time and date stamped. So there will be no arguing about when it was turned in or if it was turned in. Once it's in, it tells you. It's all there. And that makes it really handy, and the instructor can always see the last item submitted and then do their evaluation and their grading on that basis. So you can submit several items. That makes it kind of handy. And this is what it'll look like. If this was the first submission, then there would be a submit button up here. And once I submit it, then it becomes a resubmit button. But that's the way you can get that working. Excuse me. Now, any questions so far? We've done a little bit on the discussion board and on the assignments here.
Gary, if you are sending or if you are resubmitting inside of Canvas, do you have to make adjustments to that original text? What if you were typing everything up in a Word document and submitting that way.
Yes, you can do it exactly that way. You don't have to. This particular submission is a photograph, but it could be a Word document, it could be a PDF, it could be a spreadsheet.
Gary, can you show them what's underneath that resubmit assignment, what happens when you click on that? Because that's where you attach the Word document.
Oh, there's an
attachment. Or underneath the submit assignment.
Yeah, I'll hit
same.
the resubmit. And notice that right here it says, okay, browse, let's find a file. So I go looking into my documents, and I'm going to find a PDF that I'm going to submit. Click the open. Notice it says browse, and it shows blended PDF. I can put a comment in here and say, you know, here it is, final, something like that. That'll be a note to the instructor, and then I hit submit. And it's submitting, and now it says there's a submission. And I downloaded Blended 1 PDF. It was done January 5th at 6:54. There it is. And there's comments in there. Okay? Many different formats are possible. When you save your files, do note where they are. You know, I recommend little folders for your class. So in this case, I would put in a new student online orientation course, and I would make a file folder out of that, and then any assignments that I needed to do would be put in that folder, and then I can always go to that folder to grab what I need and submit. And if the instructor doesn't like it and wants some changes made, then I can go in, grab that item, make the changes, and resubmit. Other questions? It's a good question. It's a good question. You know, what kind of format can we use? Instructors can require specific formats and specific types of documents. In other words, an instructor for an English class or a writing class might require that it be a .doc or .docx document, and they can set it up so this thing would not accept a different type of Google Word or something. So it can be picky. Most of the time it's not. But if the instructor has specific requirements outlined, then do pay attention to those things. All right. Let's see. Here's an example of a rubric for grading, and this shows what you're being graded on: relevancy, categorization, organization, innovation, so forth, and then how to get the maximum points. And you see all the things you're being graded on. And some instructors will use these rubrics, and when you go to look at your assignment, look at the rubric, and it'll be highlighted. This box may be highlighted, and this box may be highlighted, and that will tell you where you gained or lost points and why. So do pay attention to that. All right. I'm going to leave Student View right now. And this gives us a little different view of things. Let's go back to Modules. All right. Quizzes are pretty straightforward. If you click on a quiz, it's going to crank up, and I'm going to preview it just to show you what it looks like, because this would be sort of the editing version. Okay, and this is a preview, and there's the quiz instructions. You have 10 minutes to complete the test, and then it would show you the questions, and you would keep going through each one. It's right online. For some of you, though, your quiz is going to have to be proctored. Your tests, your midterms, your finals may require proctoring. And proctoring means doing that in front of somebody else. For those of you that are out of the area, it may be at a library, it may be at another school, but you can get it proctored. And we also have proctoring on the campus. For some courses, you may have to use what's called a lockdown browser. And the lockdown browser prevents you from surfing to other websites while you are taking the test. So you have to take the test and complete it, and you can't go cruising out and Googling questions and things like that. It won't work. That's what that's all about. But all of that should be spelled out in your course. That should be in the syllabus. That should be in some sort of instructions. If it's proctored, you'll even get an email that tells you that this course is going to be proctored, and you're going to have to make arrangements prior to when these things are due to get your testing done. All right, and you'll need to make some arrangements in advance to have all that happen. All right. Now, one of the items that sometimes causes some questions is how do we collaborate? We've got a group project we need to work on, and we're in an online class, and we've got students scattered across the country. How do we do this? One of the things you have available to you is this web conferencing system. It's called Blackboard Collaborate, and this is available for your use. It's in Canvas. And also under the Conferences button, we go to Conferences. You can create a new conference, and this program is called Big Blue Button. You can enable recording or whatever, put in a description. This is where the team is going to work on their first project. You can invite members. You can invite all the course members. Okay, so you do that how you want, and then click Update, and you will have a conference to go into. And it looks somewhat similar to what we have here with Blackboard Collaborate, but this one is called Big Blue Button. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it works pretty well, and it's pretty easy to get into and to work with. So that's another thing you have available. And then there's also a button called Collaborations. And in Collaborations, you can get to things like Google Docs, and also Microsoft Office 365 has this available. But Google Docs in particular allows somebody in the group to start a term paper or a PowerPoint presentation and invite the other members into it, and then they can go in and edit and change things and help you create this. And they don't have to do it at the same time. You can be doing it at different times. It will keep track of all the changes that were made, who made them, what time, when, where, all that. And if necessary, you can actually pick an earlier version of the document or the PowerPoint. If somebody gets kind of wild and it goes off the deep end, you can say, no, we need to back up and use the earlier version of this document. And whoever originates the document can make that choice. They can control that. That's considered the document owner. And it's a really kind of handy item. You can do that in the Google Docs, and they have spreadsheets, and they have PowerPoint, and they have a word processor. Office 365, you can do similar things, and it will keep track of who did what to when, and you should be able to back it up if you need to. I haven't got into that too much, but it's available now. That's a recent addition. So you have ways of collaborating, and some of it's as easy as everybody getting on the web system. If you're doing a web conference, then you kind of all need to coordinate times and get on at the same time. And understanding that if people are spread across the country, there's several different time zones involved, but you all need to be on at the same time. If you do it as a document that you can work on whenever, then you can go in and do it at whatever time is most convenient for you, make the changes and so forth, and submit that, and then talk to your cohorts later, talk to your peers later about which parts of this work and what doesn't, and how you're going to edit it or change it or add to it. Okay? You do have ways you can collaborate, even though you're not in the same area, you're not in the same time zone. Be aware. Let's see. Proctored quizzes. Oh, when you go to check on grades, and you will do this. Now you're seeing a little bit behind the scenes here, but in the test student here, notice that on a concept map it tells me what it's worth. As a student, you're only going to see your stuff. You will not see anybody else's. This is more of the instructor point of view. But it lets me know that there was something submitted. As an instructor, I can go in and read this and then give it a grade, and I can comment on it. And for you to get your comments back, when you see something like assignment 1 and there's a grade there, you need to go in and look at the item. You can click on that item and it will bring up what you submitted and the instructor comments on that. And the comments can be text, or they can be audio, or they can be audio and video. Be aware. There could also be a rubric in there, and you'll want to look at the rubric and see how you were graded and on what basis you received the point value that you did. And you can do that by clicking on the individual item. You can, depending on how your quiz is set up, you can click on a finished quiz and it will show you what you got right and what was wrong, and you can review that information. But it can also be set up so you cannot review it. Understand that. So you may or may not be able to. But on assignments and all of that, all of those you can review, discussion boards and so forth. All right.
Gary, can you run and show the Eastern Online website and the student support page and the resources there?
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. I have Eastern Online here. And if you go to our home website, if you go to ewu.edu, and in the search box you add in online or Eastern Online and search for that, you'll get a link to this page. And there's a lot of good information here for you. It shows the online programs that we have, graduate programs, undergraduate, minor, certificates, all of those things, endorsements. And then what courses are available. And there are courses and course booklets, university requirements. You've got registration information. You have cost information. And last, well, not quite last, but certainly not least, is with student resources. And here's student resources. This is for you guys. And there's the orientation information, the bookstore. Remember I mentioned the bookstore. Talked about proctoring tests, software downloads, how to set up Canvas, academic calendar, admissions, disability support. If anybody has issues with hearing or eyesight or other things, you can go in here and check with our support services. We have e-tutoring, financial aid, library. Don't underestimate the library, by the way. The library has material that's available in an electronic form that's available online, and there's material that you can get put online. And all else fails, you can actually have them mail you a book if you need it. Okay, I realize that's old-fashioned, but there may be a time when you actually want to read a book and do your research that way. And our library will mail those out. You're a student here. Take advantage of the sources, the resources that we have. You can get transcripts, and on this list, last but certainly not least, is the Writers Center. You can get online help with your papers. If you want to have an impartial evaluation you can submit writing to the Writers Center and get help in producing the best paper that you can for that particular assignment. You got to give it a little bit forethought. You know, you're not going to do that the day before it's due. But if you go in there and use the Writers Center, you can get a lot of help and some review of your writing style and tips about how to improve it. And that's stuff that the instructor will not see. That's just between you and the people in the Writing Center. Just like the e-tutoring up here, there's tutoring help that you can get. And I strongly recommend you look through this page, look through the online and the student resources, because there's a lot of good things there to help you. We want you to be successful. I said that earlier, and I'll say it again. We want you to be successful. There's contact information. If you need any help, if you're having any issues, contact the Senior Hall and Eastern Online. You can email, you can phone. Don't put it off. If you're having trouble, get on it right away, okay? Very critical piece. Yes, what was that? Somebody have a comment? Janet? Jeanette?
Not me.
Amy? Okay. Okay. Now, let's see, what else? I believe, one other thing I should mention that hasn't been on here. I mentioned software and other things. We have specialized software in what is called a virtual lab, and that means that you can access it through the computer, and there are specialized software programs. It may be ones that are too expensive or specialized for you to have on your own machine, and it save you some money. Some of them are statistics programs, and you may have some things that you want to do that require this software, or you may have a subject matter you're studying that needs it, and you can go to our virtual lab and do it from, scenic downtown Portland or something, and run our computers and run the programs that you need here on the campus and get the information and be able to print out the results and save the results. And you didn't have to go into a computer lab. We have computer labs on the campus, and if you're an online student and you want to come in and use that, you're welcome to. But if you want to do it online, that's another possibility. So don't forget our virtual computer lab. Now, what am I forgetting, guys? Anything?
I believe we've covered all the orientation information. The issue is, does anybody have any questions? Because this is just kind of a general get your feet wet, especially for people that haven't taken online courses at EWU, to give them a sense of the system and the support that's available. So my question to everybody here is, do you have any questions for us?
You can use your microphone, or you can type it in the chat box if you like. Either way is fine. That's pretty much what I had to present, the information I wanted to get to everybody there. And I hope you'll take some of that to heart. No questions from me. Thank you for your time. Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody, any sort of questions? We have several people here, and glad to try and answer any of your questions. Want you to know that there are humans in this online course area, and we want you to succeed, and we want to help you, and we will do whatever we can to help you with your successful completion of these courses.
Gary, this might be more of a tech question outside of this, but
okay.
I've tried to, I can get into Canvas from Eastern's website through the links,
right,
through Eastern's website, but trying to go directly to Canvas from the website, canvas.edu or whatever that is, I haven't been able to log in using the same passwords, usernames and passwords.
Oh, that's interesting. I would say from a technical standpoint that should not be an issue. But as long as you have an in, if you need to go into ewu.edu and then go to the student resources and Canvas and log in that way, as long as you've got a way in. And when you get to that the login page, you can bookmark that, and then you can go straight into it. You won't have to click through 3 or 4 different places. Be my suggestion. Because if I was going to be getting in and out of this course on a regular basis, I would just bookmark the login page.
My guess as to why you're having some problems with that is that it needs to be HTTPS instead of HTTP for the canvas.ewu.edu. That's just a guess when you're trying to go direct.
So I can get...
Because it is a secure site.
Okay. I can get to the page. I mean, all that pulls up, but the same, it's my net ID, like somebody said, and the password, it won't process, it won't let me in, basically.
No. I don't know. It may be the HTTPS. Because when you're going in for a standard website, it'll just be HTTP. The S comes in like in shopping sites for secure is what that means. And there may be something there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you have problems and you need that resolved, I would call the help desk. But if you can get in the other route, it might just be easier not to fight that. I mean, my best guess is it's that S that you're missing in the HTTP. And typing all that out is a pain, https://canvas.ewu.edu.
Right, thank you. I will try that for sure.
Yeah, see if that works. That's without seeing the system, it's hard to know.
Right,
but
right.
Our help desk can spend as much time with you as you'd like.
Okay.
On that type of thing.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.